All right, guys, coming to you excited, full of coffee, full of energy, full of excitement, and as always, full of gratitude for this beautiful thing that we call life. Yesterday, this was the very first 4th of July I've ever spent with Lily, and she said yesterday, Daddy, this is the best day ever, best 4th of July ever. And we didn't do anything special. Well, I mean, to her, it's special. I guess it is special. We went to Mel's house, we swam, and we had barbecue, and then we drove to River Islands. And Pam knows, River Islands was just, there was fireworks everywhere. Every single way that you turn, there was fireworks, and the lakes were lit up, and it was just an amazing time to spend with the family yesterday. So hopefully you guys all had a great day. Hopefully you didn't drink too much, and if you did drink too much, then hopefully you guys are staying hydrated or rehydrating this morning. So we are going to go over to Griselda, aka G. This is the name that I've given her. We have rode with it for a while now. So G, I'm going to have you bring us out on the field. Mother hustler, out there getting things done. Just got her listing agreement signed last week. Loved how much traction you got on that video. And it just goes to show how many people are truly, truly rooting for you. So Griselda, you're coming off a big high in this last week, full of gratitude. I'm sure you're full of excitement. I'm sure there was an emotional moment that happened within, but bring the team out on the field on this beautiful, beautiful Wednesday morning, which feels like Monday. Anyways, go ahead, G.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in gratitude. I think it's something that I actually been meditating on for a while, and everything just kind of came full circle for me this weekend, to the point where I was actually crying on Sunday of gratitude, like just tears of joy, not just for that listing, which I'm very thankful for. Yeah, and the love I got from it. Also just the way my family has been showing up for me. And it's just been beautiful. And I'm just super thankful. I'm like in the state of gratitude. I don't want to leave. Like, I just want to just keep floating it, because I know the longer I'm here, the more I attract. So yeah, it's just been great. I actually had a nice call with Maria Concha too. So I've just been like just so grateful for everything. And I just want to encourage you guys to make room for abundance, because gosh, when it happens, it's almost like I had a hard time kind of accepting it. Like for a second, I'm like, whoa, this is a lot, but it's beautiful. And yeah, just make room for that space, because it is our divine right for us to have, abundance in our life. And so I am super grateful. So I just want to pass it to you guys, and hopefully you guys can find something to be grateful for today too.
Gee, I love this. Let me ask you, what are some of the things that we may not be able to see? Obviously, we saw the win for you. We saw the signed listing agreement. We're seeing all the posts, all the engagement. Like, what are the things we did not see that were behind the scenes that you said non-negotiable? This is what I'm going to do to make this happen. Give us some of the behind the scenes, what we did not see.
So that was my very first time door knocking that I met that woman. I just kept following up. One time she got sick. We had made an appointment. She got sick, and so I stopped by with flowers and a card, to check in to see how she was doing. On Mother's Day, I'd text her. She was traveling for a while, and I'd be like, I hope you're having a great time, traveling. Sorry, that's my daughter in the background.
Didn't Griselda, at one time, did she ghost you?
No, not this client, but okay. Just kind of quiet. And she said when we signed the listing, she's like, I've had many realtors at my house. You're the only one that's followed up this much. And so I'm thankful. And, she was overwhelmed with the idea of moving and packing. And I always just let her know, like, we have a team for this. We're going to help you every step of the way. You have nothing to worry about. We're going to hold your hand through this whole process. And I think I just built trust that maybe other realtors in the neighborhood weren't doing. And I brought Ernesto on because there was a little repair, couple repairs, and just having him there too, like brought her, his energy too was great. It's like, we're there to help her. It's not about the commission. And I think it just feels good coming from that space of genuinely wanting to help someone who needs our help, and having a team of people who can facilitate that. And so it was just beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm super grateful for the people that we're around. Like, I think you said this before, Elias, like relationship rich. I haven't felt that in a long time. You know, I've been coming from being a stay-at-home mom, which is very isolating, to like knowing so many amazing people. So I'm super grateful, you know, like on this team, you know, people on this team, just people in the industry. And then I feel like blessed. Yeah.
I love this. You guys,
Yeah.
let's give her some love, some light. The message of the morning. I think this is really, really powerful. So, you know, for the people, I heard this before, and it's unfortunate. Oh, well, door knocking doesn't work. Door knocking doesn't work because you're not doing it right. You're not saying the right things, and you're not following up the right way. If Griselda would have never followed up the way that she did, she would have never stayed in contact. And if she wouldn't have been human, meaning, oh, you're sick. All right, well, let me call you next week. She actually delivered something, a wellness package for that potential client, just to show that, hey, I actually care. Like, business aside, if you're sick, like, I'm here for you. So Griselda, I love seeing this. Absolutely loved watching that post just blow up. I don't know if it's your best performing post, but I think it's probably in the top 3 to top 5 best performing posts, because people love to celebrate in other people's wins.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And I felt overwhelmed with the, I was like, wow, people I didn't even tag or like reposting. And I'm just like, wow, this is so unexpected. And of course I appreciate it. And I'm like, in a sense of gratitude just for the love and the support that I've been receiving from the team and my peers and my family and friends. And it's such a beautiful thing, you know?
I love this. I love this, Griselda. Well, I appreciate you setting tone, setting the mood for the morning. Dominique, a quick ask of you, if you could just drop your husband's arm workout in the chat below. I think we could all benefit from that, because his arm looks like my thigh, and just give the guy props where props is due. So if you could drop that down below. Thank you. And let's go ahead and get started for the morning. So you guys, Winston Churchill once said this, and I think that it's important for me to share this quote and the sentiment with you. It said, in times of change, experience can be your worst enemy. By a show of hands, and let me say that one more time. In the times of change, experience can be your worst enemy. And let me elaborate on why I would say this. By a show of hands, how many of you have ever wrote an offer, contacted a listing agent, and in that first 5 minutes of talking with that person told you how many years they had been in the business? 10 years, 15 years, 17 years. I've been in this game 22 years. You ever experience that conversation with one of those old school agents? Please raise your hand. And listen, I'm not knocking them. Respect where respect is due. They've earned that right. Oftentimes what I see though, is I see that a lot of times that people that have been in this game, they're resting on their laurels, or they're too stubborn to grow. They're stubborn to new ideas. They're stubborn to adaptability. And I wrote some notes here. It says, they are stubborn to the point where conventional wisdom is not necessarily serving them as we know it, especially in the day and age that we live in with tech, with AI, the way that we receive communication. At times, our conventional wisdom can be a detriment to our success. I think that right now, and where we are in this business, and especially since pandemic, we need to exist in a perpetual state of growth and adaptability and trying new things. Even if you came from an industry that was different than real estate, because we all have different, backgrounds. But if you walked into this game and you said, you know what, I need to just clearly open my mind to new things, new ideas, new ways of talking. I don't like doing text messages. Well, guess what? Consumers love text messages. So the message for the morning is to challenge conventional wisdom, to say, you know what, in the times of change, experience could be your worst enemy. You have to ask yourself, is my way of thinking, my laurels, are these serving me, or are these helping me grow? And sometimes we just have to release in order to move forward. That's why some of these old school cats that have been in this game for a long ass time, that continuously tell you how long they've been in the game, but they're not doing anything to advance themselves in today's market. Like I said, love, respect for all the people that have built an amazing business. But this game is changing. This game has changed over the last few years. And that's why I think that this room and this company are so important, not only to the local real estate market, but to the real estate game at large. I think, and I don't, no, I know When we started this journey, we said we're going to create a movement in real estate. We wanted to create something that was different, something that was innovative, something that was always on the curve of what's happening in the real estate market. We study, we look at trends, we follow some of the top people in the game to make sure that we're always ahead. And I want you guys to think about it too. Think about the way, because like this conversation reminds me of my father. My father is an old school Italian dude, born in 1957. Refuses to get on the internet, refuses to use it at all because it says it's the web, it's the trap, all these things. He just refuses to grow. And when I talk to my dad, it's like talking to somebody that is just stuck in their ways from like 30, 40 years. It's so difficult to speak to him about the way that the world is happening around us. Some people are just not with it. So I want to encourage everybody to challenge the way that you think, challenge the way that you operate, and challenge this. Oftentimes I hear that realtors say that, oh, I'm not tech savvy. Oh, I'm not good on social media. I'm not good on that Instagram thing, right? I hear this in thousands and thousands of hours of coaching agents. I've heard this over and over and over again. So my question is, well, how much time are you actually spending mastering these things? If you say you're not good at tech, how much time are you actually spending getting better at tech? I'm not good on video. Well, shit, your one video in the last 3 months probably does say that you're shit on video. So instead of saying I'm bad at something, say, you know what? I am in an era, or I am going to master it. I'm going to challenge the way that I've thought. I'm going to embrace the foundation of what's always made me great is building amazing relationships. But now I'm going to start to build in different ways. I'm going to automate in different ways. I'm going to implement new tools in new ways. And I'm going to communicate in a very different way based on how people receive information now. Human beings are more sensitive. Our society is more sensitive. We're more aware. We're more woke than we've ever been as a society, and we're more sensitive. So if we are not only developing from our skills from tech and technology, but the way that we communicate, we're going to miss out. We're going to miss out. So that's the thought, and that's the sentiment of the morning. I'm not going to go too much further into that, but I want to share that with you. Also, I want to share with you the idea of being grateful, no matter where you are. I don't care if you're sitting in a 500 square foot studio. I don't care if your office is in your garage. I don't care if your office is in the closet because that's where you had to find some space. Whatever it is, be grateful for that, because just like Apple built an amazing company in a garage. Why? They had a vision. They didn't give a shit where they were working or what it looked like now, because they knew where they were going 10 years, 15 years down the road. So no matter what your situation is right now, know that this is just temporary. You're building something, and you're going to have that office, that space, that team, the people, the environment, everything that you've ever wanted. And this is just currently where you are. So I want to share that sentiment with you guys as we open up the conversation. So I see some stuff in the chat. I feel you, but hell to the no. I'm feeling no shade for anybody on this call. This is just a generality. Now, if you feel that, that's an internalization. I see Mitch laughing. Whatever you guys want to do, that was not me finger pointing at anybody. That literally came from Winston Churchill. So I'm just sharing, and then I built off of the comment. But I love you guys, and I appreciate you taking the message and getting a little introspective with it, because what do I tell you time and time again? I'm here to provoke thought, and I'm here to push you. That's what I'll do for you, and I'll always be in your corner. Let's get right into the market. I'm excited about today. So here's what I want everybody to do. And Christina's on here. If you're a lender, can you just raise your hand if you're also on this call? I know Christina is here, who is badass. And if you don't know Christina, then you need to know Christina, and you'll hear her speak in just a couple minutes. Let's see. Marcella. Okay, cool. We got a couple. If you are a lender, go ahead and put your hands up. All right, cool. So let's talk a little bit about resilience before I open up this conversation. How many of you are athletes or have been an athlete at any time in your life? Please raise your hand. And this is not calling anybody out either. Have you never been an athletic person? All right. So if you've been an athlete at any time in your life, prior, and when you're younger, whatever the case is. So I wrote here that character is built through resilience. Here's what I want for each of you on this call today. I want to push you guys to exceed where you think you can go. Okay, let me say that one more time. And you guys, I'm feeling so excited this morning. I want to push you to exceed where you think you can go. I want you to take all of your limitations and say, all right, Elias, I'm taking my limitations and I'm gonna crumble that shit up and I'm gonna throw it and I'm gonna push you, right? Because I want to push where you think you can go, which will increase your capacity to grow, right? If you're in an environment where people are constantly pushing you to where you think you can go, then what happens is that your capacity of growth gets wider and wider and wider, because you're able to identify things within yourself that maybe you didn't see 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago. Because let me ask a really blanket question, everybody. In the last 1 year, have you grown emotionally? Have you grown spiritually? Have you grown in your gratitude? Have you grown in your abundance? And for some of us, we have grown in our wealth. Can you say that you've grown in this last year? Absolutely. And I'm not saying it's because of me. I'm saying that this environment, the people that you're around, Griselda getting all this love, there's people in her world that she is learning from, growing from. And I want you to truly, truly think about that. Your capacity to grow is going to continue to get bigger as long as you get pushed, and as long as you be around people like this in this environment. So I'm really, really excited. I'm fired up this morning. I read, I listened, and I'm just happy to be here with you guys today. So let's do this. I want everyone to run some comps. If you're driving, don't run your comps. But I want you to think about where your next door knocking campaign is going to be. Now, have we talked about this before? 100%. We're going to talk about it again. So I'm going to pull this up and I'm going to share my screen with you guys. I did some simple comps and I did this for Walnut Creek. So let's just look at my criteria. My criteria is 60 days back. I did 1,200 to 1,800 square foot homes, so nothing too crazy. I put a single family homes, 800,000 to 1.2 million. And I put all sold and all pending in Walnut Creek. Now, obviously you can make this a little bit granular, but for the sake of the conversation, I wanted to have some general conversations. Now, here's what I want to know. What I want to know right now, and I don't have the answer to this, and maybe you guys do. So check out all the sold properties that fit that criteria over the last 60 days. Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to find those neighborhoods that are just on fire right now. Here's who I want to call. I want to call Lynette from Abio. Lynette is the owner of Abio Properties. And this particular property that was located on 107 Gordon Road. Not too sure if any of you saw this on preview or if you showed this home or if you wrote an offer on this home. But it's beautiful. There's obviously some updates to it. The backyard is still relatively older. Some updates to the inside of the house. It looks like original fireplace. It looks like original hardwood floors. I'm obviously just looking at it for my second time, so not too sure the extent, but here's the point I want to make. When we look on this home right here, they had 20 offers on this home. So I think it's safe to say that this is a highly desirable area. Now, who are the people in that particular neighborhood that need to understand how to leverage their equity? If not, they need to understand that that house listed at 1.285 and sold for 1,730. Now, we don't know exactly what the number was. We don't know what they net on, after paying their mortgage, but I think it's probably safe to say this family probably netted a decent amount. So what I want you guys to do is I just want you to run your comps and run a comps in an area where you want to serve. I know Melody wants to serve Walnut Creek. Let's take another look at this. There's one that was sold on 20 Park Avenue. Now, this one has some different features. This window is a huge selling point. Beautiful. This is I feel like this is quintessential Walnut Creek. Beautiful. Looks like it has newer carpet throughout. I love that front window. But it's nothing too extravagant, right? Look at the kitchen. It is an older kitchen. It's still got the old fixtures. There's nothing really updated about this. Appliances are updated. But what I'm saying is that when you look at this home had 15 offers on that home. So if you're an agent right now saying, you know what, I raise my hand all the time, I want to be a listing agent. I want to go out there and find inventory. Well, I'll tell you what, you guys, there's 14 other families that are brokenhearted that they can't live in this community. And so you're just dropping by to see if they've ever thought about putting their house on the market, knowing how desirable this area is right now. That house listed at 1.275 and it sold for 144,000. I like those margins. I like what happened in this community. Now, all of you are going to have different comps, different areas. So once again, I want you guys to run this. This week is supposed to be a little bit cooler than it was last week. Why I say this is that run your comps in your area. Find out where are the areas that are popping. If Colin wants to serve Poets Corner, Colin, go run some comps in Poets Corner and say, okay, let me just look at this 60 days back, something that's real, something that's actually, not too far out, and then start a campaign. You grab a buddy and say, all right, G, let's go and knock on some doors and let's go find some opportunities, because there's obviously a high desire in this area. So this is the thoughts I want you guys to do. The challenge for today is everybody, when they're off this call, sit down and run some comps. Get a strategy together. Now you're going to do one of two things. Either A, talk to them about potentially listing their home, or B, talk to them about how are they going to leverage the mass amounts of equity that they currently have in their home, because that house on 123 Main Street just sold for $200,000 over. Congratulations, Mr. Elbasani. You have more equity than you've ever had in your home. So my question is, what do you plan on doing with that? Who's the person in your corner helping you leverage the mass amounts of equity that you now have in your home? Have you considered investment opportunities, short-term rental opportunities, out-of-state investment opportunities? Who's that person to help you understand how to truly leverage? Well, no one's ever came to me about that. That's the solution for you guys, is that you guys have the ability to see data that is going to help you and give you an advantage. So challenge for the day. I want everyone to run some comps in a market that you want to serve. If I was Melody right now, since Melody's family's there, she's from Walnut Creek, I'd be putting my search together, and then I'd put my shoes on, and in the afternoon, I'd be knocking on these neighbors' doors, because they need to hear from you. They need to hear from you. They might not know this information. A lot of times homeowners, they're just not in the mix like we are. And then it takes us really bringing to light what is actually happening. So any questions, any thoughts, any insight on that, any contributions on that topic before we move forward? Hands, anybody going once, going twice?
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. I like that. Thank you. And Mel, thank you for having us over yesterday. I appreciate all the hospitality. It was amazing hanging out with you and the baby and the family and seeing Costa flip 17 million times. Colin, was that a hand up?
Oh, no. I was just wondering if I'm the last person to add the criterion of number of offers to their Paragon, which I just did. So anyway.
I don't think you're the last one. I think that this is something that you just add the custom field. And
I know. I just did. I was like, oh man, I can't fuck with the field. So I just did. If anyone else has not done that, highly recommend, because Elias has talked about approaching people with that. Do you know how many offers? There were like 20 offers. And I was thinking to myself, I don't even have that field on there. And now I do. So now I'm starting to have a lot of fun with it. And I see in Berkeley, behind, so the one with the most offers, there was 18 offers on one in Berkeley. And out of like 25 listings, like the next one, the second one to it is only 9 offers. So whatever's going on with Blake Street, which also has the highest price per square foot by far, there's something special about this property. So now I'm getting really curious and excited.
Okay. All right. So cool. I love where Colin's going. And think about this. You know that it's a hot market, right? We know that there's certain markets that are just going to blow up. Call that listing agent, like, hey, listen, I'm doing some research. I might be taking a listing in Poets Corner or wherever it is. How many people came to your open houses? All right, cool. So you had 75 groups, wonderful. And how many showings did you have? Wonderful. I had 15 showings, perfect. And then if you can tell me the number once again, did you have 15 offers? Wow. Okay. 15 offers are cool. Now you have even more information to tell the neighbor. So it's not hearsay. It's not my opinion. I'm not thinking, oh, I got a buyer. Let's just set up a listing appointment. No, you have some really, really good data to share with these consumers. So Colin, I like the way that you're thinking. If you guys are a part of Paragon, or if you guys are a part of Bay East, if you guys are a part of Contra Costa, Bridge Association of Realtors, all you do is you go into your custom fields. Now, if you're outside of the Bay Area, I don't know how your MLS works. You just have to figure that out. You just go to fields and it'll be over here, number of offers. You just slide it over to there, and then it is in your comp sheet. So really, really easy fix, and gives you a little bit more data. So let's do this. It's been about a week. We heard about this Dream for All program. Oh, before we go on, anybody else have any thoughts or contributions, insights, questions, anything? Okay, cool. Jonathan, you had your hand up, bro. If you can, throw your hand up and throw your camera on. There you go, bro. Let's hear from you.
Hey, what's going on? I just wanted to say that that technique that you showed right now about looking up on the comm scene what's sold and then door knocking, it really works. That's kind of what I've been doing, door knocking. I get some good conversations. Sometimes I don't get what I want. You know, I'm still learning how to navigate the conversation, but I do get good interactions. For sure. Perfect.
Because what are you doing? You're providing them information. And when you say no solicitation, well, I'm providing high levels of information about the market. And I want to congratulate you because you have more equity in your home than you've ever had before. And who's that person in your corner that's going to help you leverage the mass amounts of equity that you have in your home? Jonathan, I love that you're using this, bro. It's super, super effective. Good stuff. Let's do this, you guys. It's been about a week now. The Dream for All program was loosely announced that it's going to hit the market soon. We don't know when, we don't know how. Well, we know how, we just don't know when. And so I want to kind of talk to Christina really quick about some things that you're seeing in the market. And I want you guys to take this opportunity to ask Marcella as well as Christina any market questions that you're hearing. How many pre-approvals are they seeing that, you know, over the last 3 months? Like, what is actually happening on her end? If you want to ask the question about rates, I think we're pretty clear. We just heard from her last week. But Christina, what's going on right now in the market? High level overview, and then we'll get some questions going on, you guys. So throw your hands up. You have a guru here. You have an expert. So let's make sure to utilize her time. And let's just give some love and light to Christina for spending some time here with us. I appreciate you. I do.
Oh, thank you.
And Christina,
you guys. Thank you so
I've
much.
only met you once, right?
Two times?
2 times. Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
I feel so connected to you. Let's go.
That's beauty of Instagram, right?
That's right.
Oh, thank you guys so much. Yeah. So the biggest thing right now, Dream for All. You probably ask a lot of lenders out there. It's really annoying that Cal HAFA kind of put this out there so vaguely. I mean, it's kind of like there's rumor, 2023, 2024, there's 200 million out there right now, but we don't know when it's going to come out. We don't know if they're going to change any of the guidelines as well. So one big thing is some of the guidelines that they put may slightly change. We don't know. And the biggest kicker is we don't know what the rate's going to be until the program rolls out. That's how it was last time as well. So you're kind of estimating. Now, historically, Cal HAFA rates do tend to be a lot lower than a regular rate that the lenders out there are putting. So if you're familiar with Cal HAFA down payment assistance program of the 3 or 3.5%, those rates usually tend to be lower than the standard program. So that is a plus, and it's possible that this program will still be a more attractive rate. We just don't know what it's going to be. And we don't know when it's going to be out there. So clients are asking. I think the biggest thing is we can move forward in getting people pre-approved. We can't really approve them for this loan, but I think one thing good is last time around this came out, you know, it was very hard to get a client into contract because of the demand. But what I was able to do for my clients that did not get pre-approved is I was able to kind of restructure it of, okay, like let's do a smaller down payment assistance program. Or do you have a savings? Do you have stock? Do you have retirement? Do you have a gift from a family member that you can now purchase? And I actually did a handful of loans from the Dream for All pot that I was able to restructure them into other loans. And the clients were super happy. I was still able to take all of those leads and all of those pre-approvals that people were just like, oh, all right, well, now what? Well, I'm like, well, hey, like if we have that contact with that client, do not, you know, just drop them off of, oh, okay, now you don't have this program anymore. Well, you're SOL. No, like I was working on restructuring my loans to who was still wanting to move forward, who wanted to try to make it happen. And those clients that were engaged with me, I was even 10 times more engaged back, and it paid off because I was able to get them restructured. So one thing also, I was actually talking to Dominique this morning about this, is with the Dream for All, it is a conventional only product. It does not go FHA. And you may be wondering, well, what's the difference? When we usually put someone in an FHA loan, it's because they have lower credit scores, which usually are from lates, collection accounts, things like that, where they've had issues in the past with their credit. They've been trying to work on it, but those clients are not going to be able to go conventional. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac really made their guidelines a lot more stricter this year with everything going on in the market, job losses, the government. So if you have a client that if they tell you, oh yeah, I have like my credit's kind of okay, more than likely they're not going to even be able to get pre-approved for this program. So I can give one thing of advice on reels, talking to clients at open houses, leads, is if the client says, yeah, I have great credit, it's over 700, you know, I maybe have one late, then yes, they would 9 times out of 10 be approved for this program. But if they have old lates and collect, they won't get approved for this program, but they more than likely will be approved for an FHA loan. So they can do a standard FHA, or CalHAFA has a 3.5% down payment assistance program. They can go that route, but just remember, Dream for All is a conventional only program. So they really need to have pretty good credit to move forward with it.
So I had a couple of questions. So baseline qualifications for the program. And I feel like because so many people are creating videos about this, they're going to have conversations with renters, so on and so forth. So like baseline qualifications.
They need to have a 680 credit score. There was some 660 to 680. I would say if you're going to put it out there, market clients with an over 700 credit score. Because if they're over 700, more than likely, you know, they're going to have that credit history that Fannie Mae is going to approve them on. So I would keep pushing the conversation of 700 credit score. It does have to be a primary residence, no home ownership in the last 3 years. Because remember, first-time home buyer is technically someone who has not had ownership in the last 3 years. And it's going to be for 1 unit. So really pushing those key things, because then I know, like, what's that, the What's a Mortgage guy, he talks about how I want to attract the clients, so I'm going to talk about things that those are the type of clients I want to attract. So if you're talking to clients who, hey, 700 credit score, good credit, and you keep putting that out there, clients that you're going to start to get in and involved and really attract, especially for this program.
Awesome. And then I'm going to come to a couple of questions in a moment, but what about people trying to, and this is going to happen, and buyers are going to try to get creative. So they're in contract, they're 3 days into contract, 4 days into contract, the Dream for All program drops. What do we do in that case? Are clients going to try to drop that loan and then reapply for the?
Yeah. So what we would do is and people were doing it, and I was kicking myself because I was like, oh, I should have thought of that. Of getting, into contract, and then it's like, oh, this program came out. You definitely can go ahead and put them into, so let's say they're in contract, they're putting 5% down and they're approved, and all of a sudden 3 days later Dream for All rolls out. We can go ahead and switch them into the Dream for All. Unless they change a guideline on the last program, it didn't matter what your contract date was. So really listen to this. It didn't matter what your contract date was. If you got into contract before the Dream for All and then you switched into this Dream for All program, CalHAFA said it was fine. There was no issues with that. So that's where a lot of people, especially I had heard there was a bunch of teams in SoCal, what they were doing was they had all these people in contract like the week before. And then they went, and that first day that the Dream for All rolled out, they basically said, okay, boom, send all these 20 plus contracts and get them accepted in the Dream for All, lock their rate. And that's how a bunch of the funds got wrapped up the first couple of days. Those people were already in contract before Dream for All rolled out.
Wow. Okay.
Allowed it. It wasn't there was no stipulation on when you got into contract. It's all you needed was that lock confirmation from CalHAFA. So I don't know if they're going to change, hey, your contract date has to be at least on or after when the Dream for All comes out. I don't think they're going to do that. But Who knows?
Wow. Okay, cool. So this is certainly a gray area, but they're not saying anything about it. Okay. All right, cool. So let's do this. I'm going to get to a couple questions, then I have a few more questions, qualifying questions for Christina. But Otis White, you had your hand up, and you guys get your hands up. You know, unless you're an expert at this, let's make sure that we understand it. And it doesn't have to necessarily be about this program. I just figured that we would talk about it for a moment. Oh, dog.
I would want to know if any client that previously tried to get approved for this, is there any leeway for them? Would they have like kind of first rights or anything like that? Is there anything that you think that possibly be pushed back? No. Okay.
Because what happens is for this Dream Pro program, the lender, an approved lender like myself at the money store, we have our own underwriter pre-approves them. So CalHAFA really doesn't know about that client until they get their offer accepted and we submit the lock and we reserve those funds. Otherwise, they don't even know the client exists out there.
And then also, does more than 5% make a difference as well as getting qualified too, or is that?
Does the, what was that, sorry?
Bringing more than 5% to the table, since it's conventional, do you think someone with a heavier down payment would get in lesser, I mean, more than someone with lesser?
Well, the Dream for All, it automatically gives you the 20%. Is that what he was referring? Because the 20% down you're already getting. So you mean like if the client puts an additional 5% on top of it?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it really won't make, from CalHAFA's standpoint, it won't make a difference.
All right, cool. So awesome. Any other thoughts, questions, insights on this particular topic before we kind of shift gears and just talk about the generalities of the marketplace right now? Anybody else have any thoughts, contributions, insights, or questions to ask Christina or Marthella? Going once, and please don't be shy, you guys. Going twice. All right, cool. Going 3 times. All right, cool. So let's just talk about overall. Say again.
Sorry, Elias, real quick. I wasn't sure this question was already answered, but do you have an estimate date when they're going to release the Dream for All loan again?
No, not
brother.
yet. They haven't.
The only thing I have, just so you guys know, is a few months back, I was in Sacramento advocating for the Dream for All loan with other realtors. And a lot of people were wondering, but as far as, you know, like talking to the state assembly and the Senate, they're all for it. So it is highly likely that they're going to definitely release it soon. We just don't know when.
We don't know when. Other thing too is when this program, I had a couple of clients that once the program ran out of funds, they were like, well, you know, I'm just gonna hold tight and just wait for it to come back. And I was like, okay, well, for me, like, I'm like, let's see if it's when it's gonna come back. So I reached out to CalHAFA and I have on an email from them that they said, oh, it's not gonna come back. We don't have the funds. And I said, well, what about clients that canceled their contract? Because let's be honest, we all know someone went and bought a car, lost their job, unfortunately. Something happened when they got the Dream for All funds reserves and they had to cancel. So I'm like, well, what happens to all those funds? Like that person canceled, but you don't know because your funds haven't been all out. Like it hasn't been enough time to see the fallout. And they said, well, we took that money into account. We already took that into consideration. The program's not going to return until these clients start to sell their homes, because then when they sell their home, that's how CalHAFA is going to start to make their money back. So that came directly from one of the trainers of CalHAFA. So now that this is happening, it's such a mind, because they're now contradicting what they said. So, you know, I don't know. Now.
The Senate definitely have allocated billions of dollars to this, and we actually got to see the budget while we're in Sacramento, how much money that is still budgeted. Like it's not coming out of like ordinaries in the budget. So we know that there's money allocated to this. So it's just not fully, only 30% was used. So yeah.
All right, good stuff. No worries. I appreciate your contributions. One more time, anybody else have anything to say or contribute or ask questions about this particular program? Christina, when we talk about the market in just a general sense, let's remove the conversation about the dream for all. You know, when a consumer talks to you and say they meet you as a stranger and they're asking you, so, well, how's the market? I heard it's competitive, all these things that consumers are thinking, you know, led by the shepherd of the media, right? Like, what are you sharing? Like, what are you seeing? Because do you live in East Contra Costa County?
Yeah, I live in Brentwood.
But you serve the entire Bay Area. Where does
Yeah.
the bulk of your pre-approvals come from?
Bulk, all of Northern California. I even
Really?
do some SoCal. I do some people in San Diego as well, but I do really all of Northern California, Bay Area. I'm from Newark, Fremont, so I know people from, you know, all the different counties. I would say the conversation I'm having with a lot of people is, are you comfortable with the payment? Is this something that you want to move forward with? Let's get an application together to just look at the numbers. Because a lot of times clients, they're scared to make that first step to even see what the numbers are. And it's setting that realistic expectation so that once they get the pre-approval, they're like, okay, like now I know how much I can be pre-approved for. Now I know what the payment is. And then when I get that pushback of, oh, well, I'm just going to wait for rates to go down. You know, I'm just going to wait to see what happens. And I do give them examples of, you know, I've had clients that have done that even from 6 months ago, and the rates have gotten higher and now they've been pushed out of the market. And I said, how about we just configure what is it you need and what is your monthly payment and what is it you're looking for? And let's see if we can make that happen, because we already know rates will go down in the next 1 to 2 years. How much, we don't know. When, I'm hoping next year. Realistically, I do think that rates next year are going to get to the point where everyone that purchased a home in the last 2 years will be able to refinance next year. And when I have that conversation, I tell clients, we'll be able to refinance. And I also give them a breakdown of, let's say I lock you in today at 7%. Next year, if I can refinance you even to 5%, this is how much it's going to save you. It's going to bring your payment down $500, or it's going to bring your payment down $700. So if you're comfortable with this payment now, then you're going to be in a even better situation when I refinance you next year or a year and a half. And I remind them as well that your property taxes are based off of your sales price. That's really geared to that. So when rates go down, home prices come up. So you're going to have higher property taxes if you wait as well. And all of that kind of like domino effect. So I really try to change the conversation away from rates, away from the market. Is like, what is it that you and your family needs right now? And a lot of times it's clients who are need to move because they're tired of renting. And when that's the case too, I tell them, well, what's going to happen if you wait in a year? In 6 months, is your rent going to increase anyways? You know, or those type of things, or they're kind of like, and sometimes it's getting on the phone with the client and just having them talk it out, like just having the conversation, getting it out of their head, because they'll tell me, oh, well, I've been looking at videos, and watching this, and it's like, don't even look at that. How about we just like I try to steer them to the conversation of what is it you need? You know, what is it you're looking for? And then they start to feel a little less intimidated. And it's like what Griselda was saying, once you build trust with that client, they'll stick with you. And then like, it's almost like being like a older parent that you're talking to this client. And even though like, you know, sometimes clients are older than me, but they just trust you because they're like, okay, like she's making me feel like she has my best interest. And I think when you deliver that to the client that, you know, hey, if you're not ready now, then I'll be here in 6 months, I'll be here in 12 months. But whenever you're ready, then you being that go-to, and then they start to let their guard down, and that's how you build that trust. And a lot of times then clients end up buying sooner than they thought.
Love it. So let me ask you a quick question, just a data question. I don't know if you, off the top of your head, or maybe you do. We're 7 months into the year. When we look back at 2022 and we do a year-over-year comparison, are your pre-approvals up this year compared to last year, even though sales are down year over year?
You know, it's funny, they're up. And even it's like I say, it's like a roller coaster ride. All the time, this is a roller coaster. And there was like a phase like a month ago where it was like, oh, it kind of got slow. And then like this weekend, it was like I got 5 pre-approvals, like 5 people who actually completed applications within the last couple of days. And it's just like, so it's definitely been up. There are people that are still wanting to buy. And
so Christina, really quick, and sorry for interrupting you.
Okay.
So the pre-approvals are up. if we're comparing the last seven months of last year to 7 months of this year, do you think that that's the trend for most lenders right now, or you can only speak for yourself?
I can only speak for myself because I hear differently from other lenders. So I would say I'm really big on follow-up too. Like I will like still follow up from people from January that ghosted me. That's just me, you know, and I think that follow-up consistency is huge. So I would say being out there, talking to people, networking, having the conversation is what has really helped me in continuing to try to, I don't look at what other people are doing. Like if I see someone else saying, oh my God, it's so slow, all this, I'm like, I can't watch your story. I can't watch your Instagram. I can't talk to you because for myself, if I would have told myself every year, oh my God, this is going to be a horrible year in real estate and mortgage, who knows where we would be right now. Like, I don't know if you guys know, I started as an assistant. When I started in mortgage 10 years ago, I started as an assistant. And then gradually, like 5 years after that, then I started to do loans and all of that. And if you would have told me after COVID, rates were going to be this and the market was going to be crappy, I don't think I would have ever branched off to be a loan officer and now a branch manager. If I listened to what the news was saying, what social media was saying, what rates were saying, I probably wouldn't have put myself out there to be in the position I am today. So I don't listen, you know, so I don't listen to what people say. And if I, you know, I just do me. And
it's like turn off the chatter. So I wanted to ask you this for all of our influencers that we have on the call today. How late in the game did you start to use Instagram to build your brand and to start developing leads from Instagram? How late in the game was it? You're a 10-year veteran in this industry. When did you start?
It was right before COVID was when I started. Right before COVID was when I started to put myself on Instagram, because I was telling my team, I was like, hey, you guys got to do this. Like, people really don't know about this, or they don't know about that. And people are like, I don't want to put, like, it was kind of like older mentality. They didn't want to put up on social media or Facebook. They're like, no, like, I just get my referrals. And I was like, but did you know that you can do this on this loan? And I was always super excited about it. And then finally one day, my husband was like, just do it yourself. Just you put it out there. And I was so nervous about what people were going to think of me. And I think it was more like, I was nervous about what his friends and my friends were going to say, if I was going to sound cheesy. But my husband is one of my biggest supporters. It gives me so much confidence. And he was really like, just do it. And then I just started doing it. And literally that's how I started to connect with so much of Team Fast, was Instagram's algorithm of just, hey, I'm going to follow this person. Hey, I'm going to message this person and see if they're looking for another preferred lender to work with. And I would say, hey, you're looking for another preferred lender to work with? Let me know. Let's have a conversation. And then it really was just like, it was a domino effect of reaching out to people. And then that's how actually Christina Pineda reached out to me and was like, hey, do you have like 10 minutes to talk on Friday? I was like, okay, sure. And then it was just those natural, organic ways. So I would say it was right before COVID. And then Brittany Brown Wade, her and I had our first, it was like in that year before in like November. And then Brittany and I had our first contract in like January, February.
And that's how we got connected. I saw other people posting you and I'm like, hold on, let me reach out to Christina. And so there's many lenders out there, but some of them aren't visible. I'm not saying they don't do a great job, but I don't know who a lot of them are because they're not visible in my world. So love it. So let's do this, Colin. I think there was a hand that went up and then a hand went down.
I'm just kind of real briefly, I'm kind of excited about what Christina just said. That sounds like great fodder for content, because if I go around to like 5 other lenders that I know, none of which are as awesome as Christina, and I freaking I say, hey, you know, are your pre-approvals up? And they're like, yeah, as a matter of fact, significantly. Then that's great fodder for a video where I might say something to the effect of, okay, folks, everyone's getting their pre-approval because they're gearing up for when rates do fall. If they do, whatever. I don't know exactly what the script is going to be, but it's like, get your pre-approval today, because when there's going to be a rush, when we get down to 5%, that rush means you're going to have massive competition like nothing else. So tour houses with me now, have your pre-approval now. So those rates do drop, ready to pounce.
Totally. I love this. I love the way you're thinking. So let's kind of close out this session. wanted to get some key takeaways from a couple people, but I wanted to call on Andrea Lamadora first and foremost. So Andrea Lamadora, she had a huge accomplishment. She just texted me, I think it was yesterday. Was it last night? Was it yesterday? So first and foremost, I want you to share with everyone what this huge accomplishment is, because I think everyone can get some inspiration from what that is. Share with everyone first and foremost, then I want to hear some takeaways from you.
Well, I get to ring the bell 3 times at the office next time I'm there. I ratified 3 contracts yesterday in 1 day. So
One day,
I can't believe it.
one day, you guys.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Has this, how long you been in the game, first off?
2.5 years.
Has this ever happened before in your career?
Not in 1 day, but yeah, it's been in 3, but this is crazy. I've never.
In 1 day, that's the one day part of it.
Yeah.
Woo!
So how it
Alright,
all happened was I was working with my buyers for about a month. Wasn't able to get them into contract quite yet, and it was only a matter of time. 2 weeks ago, I got a listing from a referral of a friend of mine. And this client of mine was like, look, I'd like to do this possibly off market. And, I had thought about maybe like my buyers for this, but I was like, no, let's just keep working on this. Let's see how this pans out. And then I was like, let me offer this scenario or see this option for if my seller be interested in maybe entertaining somebody, a buyer that I have. So she's like, well, I'll entertain the idea. And so I leveraged the team. I reached out to Sunny, who we're in contract with, but I basically referred my clients over to our teammate, and to keep the contract separate. And my sellers were happy with the buyer's offer, and so we got into contract on that. And then at the same time, simultaneously, I reached out to one of our teammates in Sacramento, Joe Ellen, because this is where my seller wanted to move. My client was like, oh, could we look at 3 houses this week? I was like, okay, let me reach out to Joe Ellen. Hit her up. She's like, I would love to work with your client. Showed her 3 houses. It was the first house she saw. So in the same time, we got that one into contract as well. So that's how that all happened.
Leverage what you have in your environment. I absolutely love this for you. Congratulations. What a big day. And give me one key takeaway from our session today with the team and with Christina.
Leverage the team.
Okay, perfect. I love it. Congratulations on all your success. Let's go to Dana. Dana, key takeaways from our time together today before we close out.
Yes, it's when it's a no, it's not really a no. Just reframe and rethink. Is what Christina said. It's like, hey, if Cal Half a Dream for All didn't work for you, just rethink about just think about what it is that you can do from here on out. It's not a no.
Yeah, I love this, you guys. There's been so many times where people said, I'm just going to keep renting, or it's not my time. And then it's actually their time. So I love that. Just be creative, find different ways to keep them in, because if the dream is to become a homeowner, then help them find the way and open up different options for them. Not to say that this program isn't of great benefit to them, but that can't be the end all be all. There's other programs out there. So Dana, I love that. Colin and Otis, I want to make sure that are those old hands or new hands?
New hands.
New hand. I just wanted to follow up on what Colin was saying about the content and about choosing a good lender. I'm definitely gonna make one today. As Christina was saying, she's great. She saved so many deals and keeps so many of my clients entertained because she does a ton of follow-up. I can contest to somebody that works with her on a lot of stuff. She definitely does that. And the fact that she used to be a realtor, so she's kind of like to me, like a Swiss Army knife. She could help you out in so many ways. She saved a couple of deals just off of having some of that knowledge as a realtor. So Christina's the best. So if you ever have the chance to work with her, and then right now with Rape, she's been doing her specials since she's been rolling out since January on helping out. So she's got a lot of tools, and she's very, very, very smart on making deals stay alive. And the fact that she's a branch manager now, she has more tools in that belt. So holler at her.
I love it. So Colin, rapid fire. Thank you, Otis. Thank you, Mama Son. Rapid fire, Colin.
Real quick takeaway from Christina, a good reminder, I do all the talking because I hate awkward silence on the phone. And so I have so many calls that I want to make to touch bases with my old people and put them all in follow-up boss today. Let the people talk. Let them just talk out what they're going through.
I love it. If you ask the right questions, you'll get the people to talk. I always think of us like litigators, right? A litigator asks just a series of amazing questions and pulls out what they need to pull out from people. Consider yourself a great litigator. Jess Bling, let's take us home. Key takeaways from today, and then have you take us off the field on this beautiful Wednesday that feels like a Monday. Let's go.
Honestly, not any tips, just really feeling really encouraged and really on fire. Our team has just been such a positive impact on my life and my business. And yeah, that's it. I'm gratitude, and y'all keep killing it. Y'all are inspiring and motivating people. And I'm ready to go out and get my next deal or next 3. So I can be like,
that is that's right. Jess, by the way, I sent you a calendar invite. Take a look at that. I sent it last week for tomorrow. Just take a look at it when you have a second. But you guys remember, in times of change, experience may be your worst enemy. Don't rest on your laurels. Be open-minded, be adaptable, be resilient, be willing to be pushed in order for your capacity to grow, to get bigger and bigger and bigger. You guys, thank you for your contributions. We're going to do more of this stuff. I'm going to lean on Christina and other people that raise their hand that are lenders. I'm saying, if you want to come to group coaching, you better bring some fire, or you don't come to group coaching the next time. So if you want to come here and do a snore fest, this is not for you. You better keep it moving in the right direction. Christina does that always. So you guys, thank you for being here. Have an amazing, amazing day. Go out there, handle what you need to handle, move your business forward. Take one thing that you learned from today, go make a video, go reach out to somebody. Oh my God, hey, I got some new information. I want to share this with you. Go and take some action today. As always, keep it moving towards your dreams, your goals, and vision, and have an amazing, amazing Wednesday. Peace.